Have you ever wondered what heart surgeons eat to keep their hearts in top shape? I mean, these are the folks who spend their days fixing hearts. Surely they know a secret or two, right? Well, today I'm letting you in on a little gem one of my dear friends, a retired cardiac surgeon, shared with me. And the best part? It's not a fancy pill or a complicated regimen. It's something you can find at any grocery store, starting with just a handful of this. Now, before we dive in, let's talk about why this matters. As we age, our hearts work a little harder. Maybe you've noticed shortness of breath when climbing stairs, or your doctors mentioned keeping an eye on your blood pressure. But here's the good news. Small daily choices can make a big difference. In fact, my surgeon friend told me the best heart medicine isn't just in the OR, it's on your plate. So let's start with the first heart-loving habit he swears by, one you can begin today. The daily handful of nuts, nature's hot armor. You know, my neighbor Ed, who's 72, used to snack on pretzels every afternoon. Then his doctor suggested swapping them for almonds. Within 3 months, his cholesterol improved, and he said, "I swear my afternoon slump vanished." Now, Ed's not alone. Studies show that seniors who eat a handful of nuts daily have healthier arteries and lower inflammation. But why? Nuts are packed with what I call the holy trinity for your heart. Healthy fats that help clear out sticky cholesterol, fiber to keep your digestion and heart humming, magnesium, a mineral that relaxes blood vessels like a spa day for your arteries. But here's the trick: raw or roasted, salted or unsalted. My surgeon friend says go for unsalted and raw when possible. Too much salt can undo the benefits. Try walnuts, almonds, or even pistachios. Keep a small jar by your reading chair or toss them into oatmeal. And if you've got a sensitive stomach, soak them overnight in water. It makes them easier to digest. Leafy greens, your heart's best friend. Now, let's talk about something my grandkids call rabbit food, leafy greens. But trust me, Popeye was onto something with that spinach. My friend Marge, who's 68, started adding a fistful of kale to her morning smoothie. "I thought it'd taste like lawn clippings," she laughed, "but now I crave it." 6 months later, her blood pressure medication was cut in half. Here's why greens like spinach, kale, and Swiss chard are heart heroes. They're bursting with potassium, which balances sodium levels, and nitrates, which widen blood vessels for better flow. Think of them as a natural pressure valve for your heart. But let's keep it simple. You don't need gourmet salads. Try sautéing greens with garlic and olive oil, blending them into soups, or even baking kale chips with a sprinkle of paprika. The goal? A serving a day, about the size of your palm. A match made in heaven. Now, here's where the magic happens. Pair those nuts and greens with a drizzle of extra virgin olive oil, and you've got a powerhouse combo. The fat in the oil helps your body absorb the nutrients in the greens, while the nuts add crunch and staying power. My surgeon friend calls this trio the Mediterranean secret, a trick he picked up in Italy, where heart disease rates are famously low. But wait, there's one more ingredient he insists on adding to this daily ritual. It's something you likely already have in your pantry, and when combined with these foods, it works like a shield for your heart. We'll dive into that next time. For now, start with the basics. A handful of nuts, a serving of greens, and a splash of good olive oil. Your heart doesn't need perfection, just consistency. And who knows, you might just find yourself humming, "Isn't she lovely" to your ticker one of these days. Now, let's talk about the secret ingredient my surgeon friend whispered about, the one that turns your daily plate into a heart-healing masterpiece. But before we get to that, there's another food group he insists on eating every single day. And trust me, it's not what you'd expect from a man who spent decades in scrubs. Berries, nature's candy for your heart. Picture this: a retired mechanic named Joe, 69, loved his nightly bowl of ice cream. But when his doctor warned him about his rising blood pressure, he swapped that Sunday for a bowl of mixed berries, strawberries, blueberries, raspberries. Within 2 months, his wife joked, "He's got the energy of our grandkids." And his next checkup, his doctor asked, "What on earth are you doing differently?" Here's why berries are a heart surgeon's best-kept snack. They're loaded with anthocyanins. Fancy word, I know, but these pigments are like tiny bodyguards for your blood vessels. They fight inflammation, improve circulation, and even help regulate blood sugar. Plus, their natural sweetness satisfies cravings without the crash. Don't overthink it. Fresh, frozen, even a dollop of sugar-free jam on toast works. My surgeon friend starts his day with a handful of berries in his oatmeal. "It's like dessert for breakfast," he says. And if you're worried about cost, frozen berries are just as good and often cheaper. The omega-3 powerhouse, fatty fish. Now, let's tackle the elephant in the room. Fish. I know. Some of you are thinking, "I can't stand the smell." But hear me out. My surgeon friend eats salmon, mackerel, or sardines 3 times a week. Why? These fish are swimming in omega-3 fatty acids, a type of fat that's like WD-40 for your arteries. It keeps them slippery, so plaque can't stick around. My Aunt Ruth, 75, refused to touch fish her whole life until her grandson challenged her to try grilled salmon with lemon and dill. "Tastes like summer," she said. Now she bakes a big batch every Sunday and adds it to salads or sandwiches all week. Her latest checkup, her triglyceride levels dropped by 30%. Not a fish fan? Try canned tuna in water or even omega-3 eggs. The goal is to get those healthy fats into your system regularly. And if you're worried about mercury, stick to smaller fish like sardines or anchovies. They're low on the food chain and packed with benefits. The hidden hero, garlic's heart-saving magic. All right, time for the big reveal. The ingredient my surgeon friend calls nature's blood thinner. Drum roll, please. It's garlic. Now, before you groan about bad breath, let me tell you a story. My buddy Carl, 71, had borderline high blood pressure for years. His doctor suggested a clove of raw garlic a day. Carl thought it was a joke until he tried chopping it finely, mixing it with olive oil, and dipping bread in it. 6 weeks later, his numbers were the best they'd been in a decade. Here's why garlic earns its spot. When you crush or chop it, it releases allicin, a compound that relaxes blood vessels and fights plaque buildup. But here's the catch. Cooking destroys some of its power. So add minced raw garlic to dressings, sprinkle garlic powder on roasted veggies, or let it sit for 10 minutes after chopping before tossing it into a stir-fry. Still wary of the bite? Try roasted garlic. It's sweet, mellow, and spreadable. My surgeon friend smears it on whole grain toast like butter. "It's my secret weapon," he says, putting it all together. So let's connect the dots. Start your day with berries in your oatmeal Add a handful of nuts to your midday snack, toss garlic-infused olive oil on a kale salad, and grill salmon for dinner. It's not about perfection, it's about layering these heart-loving foods into your routine. But wait, there's one more daily ritual my surgeon friend swears by. It's not a food, but it's just as vital. And when paired with everything we've talked about, it's like hitting the heart health jackpot. We'll dive into that final piece next time. For now, try adding just one of these foods to your day. Maybe swap that bag of chips for a handful of walnuts, or toss a clove of garlic into your soup. Remember, your heart doesn't need a revolution, just a few loving nudges in the right direction. We've talked about nuts, greens, berries, fish, and garlic, all staples of my surgeon friend's heart-healthy plate. But there's one last habit he calls the glue that holds it all together. And no, it's not another food. It's something far simpler, yet just as powerful. A daily 30-minute walk. The daily walk, your heart's rhythm keeper. Now, I can hear some of you thinking, walking? That's it? But let me tell you about my cousin Betty. At 78, she'd mastered eating all the right foods, salmon twice a week, garlic and everything, but still felt her heart race climbing stairs. Then her doctor said, "Betty, you're missing the movement." She started walking to her mailbox and back, then around the block, then through the park. Within months, her resting heart rate dropped and she joked, "I finally outran my grandkids." Here's why walking works. It's like a gentle massage for your heart. It lowers blood pressure, improves circulation, and even helps your body use those omega-3s and antioxidants more effectively. And you don't need fancy gear, just a pair of comfy shoes and a willingness to go at your pace. My surgeon friend walks after dinner every night, rain or shine. It's not about speed, he says. It's about showing up. So, if 30 minutes feels daunting, start with 10. Walk while you phone a friend or march in place during TV commercials. Your heart doesn't care how far you go. It just loves that you're moving. The final piece, mindful eating. Now, here's a bonus tip. One my friend swears sharpens the benefits of every bite. Slow down, seriously. When was the last time you savored a meal without distractions? My neighbor Frank used to eat his meals in front of the news, barely tasting his food. Then he tried setting the table, turning off the TV, and chewing slowly. Turns out, kale tastes pretty good when you actually notice it. He laughed. Mindful eating isn't just about enjoyment. It helps your body absorb nutrients better and prevents overeating. Try this. Take 3 deep breaths before your first bite. Notice the colors, textures, and smells. It's like giving your heart and your soul a moment of gratitude. Bringing it all home. Let's tie it all together. Every day, aim for a handful of nuts for crunch and heart-healthy fats, a serving of leafy greens dressed in olive oil and garlic, a burst of berries for dessert-like sweetness, fatty fish a few times a week, or omega-3 rich alternatives, a 30-minute walk to let your heart stretch its legs. But here's the truth. You don't have to nail this perfectly. Miss a day, forgot the garlic? That's okay. What matters is showing up most days. My surgeon friend puts it best. Your heart doesn't keep score. It just wants love, bite by bite, step by step. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Have you tried any of these tips? Did your grandkids steal your walnuts? Or maybe you've found a new walking buddy. Share your stories below. We're all in this together. If this series helped you, do me a favor. Give this video a thumbs up. It helps others find these tips too. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. We're all about thriving in our golden years with joy, good food, and a happy heart. Thank you for joining me today. Remember, friends, your heart has carried you through decades of laughter, challenges, and love. Now, it's your turn to carry it. With every nourishing bite, every stroll, and every mindful moment. Here's to many more years of strong beats and sweet memories.